And we're back. Welcome, everybody. This is NFL Draft Week and also our third episode in this series of Kiss My Afterburners. I'm your host, Panda, and our two wonderful, lovely co-hosts, Chris and Krista. How you guys doing?
Good. Very good.
Yes. Well, currently, right now, the NFL Draft is in this second round right now.
Second round.
It's in the second round. So as we go on, as if the Jets do anything, special to move up again, we'll let you guys know. But right now, this show is focused more on what happened yesterday and earlier this evening with our pick at 34. So we'll go on that. It's good to have you guys back, and you could catch us on Twitter. Never mind. Let me put up the Twitter logo. It is right here. It's scrolling on the bottom. Hopefully you guys could see. You could follow us at our individual Twitters. Mine is Chubby Panda Bun. Chris and Krista is down there as well. Sharman will not be joining us today. He had important issues to take care of. So we'll go and we'll see when we go. So I wanted to talk about how, we're all watching the draft from home right now, and we know we have knowledge like, couch scouts or all these things. So how did you guys get your information with all these players?
You know what? Between watching TV, NFL Network, ESPN, stuff like that, and then the websites. There's the Pro Football Network, Pro Football Focus, PFF.com, and then you got the Draft Network. You just do your own research. You can watch YouTube, you can watch clips, so you got your own idea of who you like, who you don't like. So I just did that the last, 3 months, just reading up and doing mocks like every day, just to get different ideas. Obviously not to get them right. Obviously you're not getting them right, just to kind of get, an idea. That's all. How about you, Krista?
Here, I'm big on college football, big Alabama, big Oklahoma fan, so I'm always watching to see how those teams do. I know they have a lot of talent going. I know you're ready to send me the Panda tissues, but I want to send them to my good friends, to the beat writers, because they keep crying about cornerbacks, and I'm all hyped up about our offensive playmakers. But for me, yeah, I watch a lot of football. I watch it whenever I can. I'm up late at night watching football. I do read Pro Football Focus tweets too, even though I give them a bit of a headache when I tweet at them. It's all good fun. I don't always agree with what they have to say about their fancy analytics. I like to butt heads with them, but I appreciate them. I haven't been blocked by them yet, so I guess I'm doing something right just by liking their tweets and following what they have to say about our new wide receiver and Zach Wilson. And I do a lot. I also read magazines when I can, pick up magazines, because there's a lot of guys that I don't really know about too, from small schools that I don't know about. Try to read up on them and try to read up on late night gems that could be had, what Mel Kiper has to say or what Todd Mache has to say. Again, I don't agree with what they have to say, but sometimes they have those guys that I'm like, hey, maybe I need to read up on that player. So I read up on what they have to say. So yeah, I get it from online, and I do a lot of it does come from TV though, and I do my research on that fact. But yeah, Twitter's been a good source of research as well.
Awesome. Well, for me personally, the way I do it is, everyone has these highlight tapes on YouTube and stuff like that. And then I watch them, but I'm not really interested. I'm more interested in the individual game tapes later that people, kind of put out on YouTube and stuff like that. The more like elongated stuff. So I watch, and then I watch the individual throw. Like for a quarterback, I watch the individual throws, or like a defensive lineman, I watch the individual pressure, how far he gets to the quarterback, or how far can he bend, and make the crash the line and stuff like that. And then as about 3 years ago, I was like, I could trust Mel Kiper and I could trust this and that all these experts, and I was just like, after I listened to Mel Kiper and Sam Darnold's love, and I thought I thought he was our savior. But look what happened to your ex-boyfriend Sam Darnold turned out, Krista.
I
So-
just jumped him a few million times on Twitter, so it's fine. He's in
So,
Carolina.
so with that being said, I just don't watch as much as media. I just go by my own, doing my own mocks and how these wonderful, algorithm-based the mock drafts run together, and then I go and base my stuff from there. And me and Chris debate a lot on these things, and that's how we get too much debating on who we like and who we don't like.
And usually we're both wrong, so
Aw.
it turns out always not right. So you can never figure this stuff out. I always say, just quick, like even when you do your research and you look at all the other things rankings, their rankings are going to be totally different than the team's rankings. So whatever we're looking at before the draft is going to probably be, and we could see by the draft, is going to be totally different, right? So it is what it is. So you just got to look at it for what it is and go into the draft at least knowing, okay, I like this guy, whatever, and we'll see what the teams do. So it's interesting. That's why I love the draft. It's always a mystery.
See, for me, as far as grading players, like who's better, or like when let's put them in tiers, as they say. It's like the difference is so slight. Like from a first round, like a late first round pick to an early top second, it's minuscule. Everyone looks great on tape, right? And plus I don't have the scout's eye, as they say, so it's really tough to grade. And looking at today, as far as the second round is concerned, everyone's trading everywhere right now. So it's like the value of people who you thought they were going to go to there, it's just flip flopped,
right?
So just don't do any research and just enjoy when the show comes out. I guess that might be just better way, less stress on you.
Either way, to me, it's like a mystery anyway. Either way, like whether you do a bunch of research on these players or you don't, because no matter what you think it is, it's going to come out with something else. Like there were many surprises in the first round. I'm sure we'll talk about it, but some of them made sense too. So that's the draft.
Yep, that's pretty much it. All right. Now, speaking of our just draft picks, now I want Krista to lead our next segment, as she has found a new boyfriend, and he hails from Utah. And take it away, Krista.
Okay, I promise I won't be as creepy as Craig Carton was in that whole fiasco about his mom. Wait, well, I promise that we are saying we're not like that. As far as Zach Wilson, I like Zach Wilson. I mentioned this before. I think we got a major upgrade, whether we chose Justin Fields or Zach Wilson. I think both are major upgrades over Sam Darnold. Personally, for me, I rooted for Sam Darnold. I wanted him to succeed badly in New York. I wasn't as high on him as Mel Kiper is. And as much as he had his fits on draft day talking about how bitter he is, it sounds like in the first round that the Jets let him go and he's kind of down, like, oh, why'd the Jets do this and that? I like Zach Wilson. He fits the floor offense well. He could throw the football very well. I actually think he has a better arm than Justin Fields. I know that a lot of people think that's debatable, but I've watched his tape. I think he has the better arm. He's athletic. He can move in the pocket. But with the new additions, I think hopefully he doesn't have to do that as much. He kind of has that Baker Mayfield top moxie that you need in New York, which is why in 2018 I wanted Baker, and this is kind of why I kind of like Zach Wilson a lot. He has that swag. He has that moxie that he has in New York. And not to say too much about Sam Darnold, I guess you say my ex guy that I was rooting for. But he was just too nice, he's just too nice. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but you gotta have some moxie to you. You're a New Yorker. Like, we like real people, and we like to tell it how it is. So Zach Wilson, I think we got a winner with Zach Wilson. and I think we got our guy. He fits the LaFleur offense. I trust with the Jets. They did a lot of research on this guy, and I really like the pick. I have nothing but positive to say about Zach Wilson in his interviews. He really won me over. He won me over in the draft, hyping up the fans, and I think that's the kind of guy we need in New York, the kind of guy that has a chip on his shoulder, that he said, oh, the thing about me is that I was a little bit upset that people were getting me about my size, and I think he's going to carry that chip well, and I think we got our guy personally.
I totally agree with everything you just said. I don't like the people that were worried about the strength of schedule. They, that was the big complaint with him, about him, I should say,
Yeah.
that the strength of schedule wasn't that tough. But you know what? We could say that about so many other players that have come, that have come through. If you want to say that, then what's his name? Trey Lance shouldn't have been picked third overall then, right?
Exactly.
I mean, he played North Dakota State, and he only played 17 games in his whole college career. So I think that's one of the weaker arguments for me. The only one I always feel like when I look at him and Justin Fields is a little thicker. He looks like he's a little, I don't want to say tougher. I think Zach Wilson's a tough kid, but you know what I mean? It looks like Justin Fields is going to be able to take more shots to him, to his body than, but you know what? They could also add more weight to this kid. I'm sure they're going to put him on some kind of training program, add like 5 or 10, 15 pounds to his body, he does have the 2 surgeries, right? The shoulder and the broken arm. So yeah, those are the negatives. Other than that, you got to love the kid. Like he said in his interviews, he says all the right things, sounds confident. Sounds like a great kid. I felt really good with Sam 3 years ago, but we're sitting here now talking about someone else. So, but I think just by the way we've drafted this year and the last year, and the way this roster is now, it's much better than what Sam had. So I'm expecting a lot bigger and better results with Zach Wilson. So we'll see.
Okay, so I want to continue my Zach Wilson hype, love / whatever. So, like, I got to know Zach Wilson about November-ish, when he, played one of Coastal Carolina, and my friend was telling me to watch a clip of him, right? And at that point, I was really, really sad that we didn't, get Trevor Lawrence, because we won that game in December, and we're like, oh, we're not getting Trevor Lawrence. But now I've come to the conclusion that Trevor Lawrence might not work in Jacksonville. My Buster Rudy pick yet again.
Man.
So anyway,
please stop.
Watch.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm watching.
Just watch. But anyway, so I got a hint of Zach Wilson, and as the draft process came forward, it just became apparent that this guy has a really quick release on his arm, is mobile, can move outside of the pocket, great for bootlegs, and the number one thing is off-platform throws, and also many different angles of throws that he could throw, and the fact that he could throw from left to right, the hash marks, which was great. Yeah, that's what I like, and I think that's in like an NFL arm for thing. Yes, I'm not really too much in strength of schedule for me, because when whether they're playing Alabama or they're playing LSU or whatever, right? When a receiver goes down the field and he has the defender on him, a tight window is a tight window, right? Exactly. If he has this much space or this much space, it's still a tight window. And if he could fit the ball in there, it's pretty much the same. So I don't really care about, strength, that strength of schedule thing. And hopefully, Zach, I'm very excited about him. I've actually photoshopped my head on top of his body before. As a fact. Chris, I have to show that. Thanks to Chris's wonderful daughter's artwork, my head's blownified on Zach Wilson's body, and yeah, I'm a big fan of him. So,
another big argument, right, that people have is about like with Mac Jones, right? Mac Jones has unbelievable talent around him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they've already had, I think, 8 first-round picks or whatever it is, or first and second-round picks to Alabama. So, 2 great wide receivers, the running back, great offensive line. So, of course, Mac Jones has great talent around him. I don't think Zach Wilson had much talent around him at BYU.
I think he had Mitt Romney's nephew.
Okay, so there you go.
That's pretty much it.
All right,
Right?
so that's big. He's a big time player, but
Yeah.
no, but you understand what I'm saying. The guy didn't really have much talent, and he still played great. He had one loss last year, so I mean, we got to give him credit. So that's I hate these arguments. The too much talent.
Exactly.
For Mac Jones, but this kid's got no talent around him, and look at the numbers he put up. Or Trey Lance, look at the numbers he put up. What kind of talent he's got. So I don't know. These arguments, I hate those. I hate those kind of arguments. You don't like the player, just say I don't like the player, but don't tell me these excuses why you don't like him.
Yeah.
I mean, I think as far as hearing him today in the interviews, he's well spoken. I think he has, I guess, the physical appearance to be New York, calm, cool, collective, good haircut,
right?
And I think, yeah, if he makes it here, I'll buy him a fur coat. You're right. No, I'll buy him a fur coat if I ever see him. So yeah, so that's our analysis on Zach Wilson. Let's move, Chris. I want you to take the next one because you're the one who got me into this. Our next player that we picked, Elijah Vera Tucker. Go ahead.
I loved it. I mean, we only had to give up the 2 threes to move up.
Yep.
This was a great move. I mean, this is the one. Him and Tevin Jenkins was the guy. I think the 2 guys I think a lot of people wanted offensive line wise, other than some of the people lately were the Creed Humphrey people. But this guy was definitely the one that everybody wanted, but was like, man, he's not going to fall to us. We'll never get him. Mm-hmm. And then to trade up to get a player like this, I mean, I think the Jets had him top 10 on their board.
Yeah.
So to get a guy like that, and he's also a guy that can play tackle, play guard. According to some scouts, he could play tackle well, but he's going to be like an all-pro guard if they move him inside. And that's what I'm assuming that's what the plan is going to be, move him to the left guard. That whole left side is going to be – it's probably going to be arguably the best left side in football with Vera Tucker and Becton. At least Wilson doesn't have to worry about his blind side at all with these 2 guys on his left side. So – I love the pick, and to only give up 2, 3, all right, 2 third-round picks. That's kind of a lot, I guess, but it's really not that much when you think about it to get a player that you really want. So I loved it, man. I was really excited when they did that.
How about you, Krista? What are your thoughts on it?
I loved it personally. I know Joe Douglas was taking a lot of heat from people on Twitter saying, oh, we didn't do enough from free agency. He didn't go after offensive linemen. Tooney went to the Chiefs, and then the year prior, he tried the free agent route, getting an offensive lineman. We talked about this on Jets Guru, me and Dan, and all the time, and it didn't work out. And I think he kind of had cold feet going into doing that route, going free agency offensive line. It could either boom or bust. So I applaud his aggressiveness to go and get Vera Tucker and move up. I personally loved it because as fans, how many times have we complained saying, oh man, Jets need to draft offensive linemen. Jets don't draft enough offensive linemen in the first 3 rounds. And finally, Joe Douglas goes up and gets them. Because personally, I felt like it was a good move because I didn't want Joe Douglas to actually use all those picks. If he really likes a player, I always believe you move up and go get him, especially a blue chip talent. You believe this is a top 10 guy, you go and get him. So I love this move. I love this move for the Jets because we need talent at offensive line. I know we have McGovern at center. Vera Tucker can play multiple positions if needed, and you have Becton. And it fills a whole need because we need to protect our quarterback. Because remember, a few years ago, Joe Douglas gave that promise to Sam Darnold, said, hey, I'm going to go and protect you. And technically didn't work out to his favor. And I think that Joe Douglas is like, look, I have Zach Wilson. Let me make sure we keep him up front so he could do what he does best, so he doesn't have to scramble all the time, so he could able to play football. So Oliveira, Tucker, and Becton on his side. I'm going to bed at night knowing that these two guys are protecting our franchise quarterback. And overall, love the move. I'd do it any day. You're telling me all I have to do is give up 3 third-round picks to go and get this guy. I'd do it all over again today, the next day, and any time of the year to go get this guy. The fact that we were able to still keep pick 34, because I thought for sure that pick was a gone when I heard that we moved up to get him. It's just
Definitely.
absolutely amazing. So
Yep.
I have nothing but positive reviews. Love the move by Joe Douglas to go get an offensive lineman. And I feel like after that move, I feel like we actually have a GM that's capable of not only drafting talent, but has that aggressiveness that I felt like John Izzik lacked, and I felt like Mike McCagan lacked.
You know what? And I said it too for the first time, and I think I can't remember the last time I feel really confident in the GM, the coaching staff. I just feel like, all right, this is the right move. This is it. The last couple of years with Gase, we were kind of like, like we had no idea what was going on before him, so it's been a while since we felt this good about our coaching staff and our front office, just knowing that, okay, they're making the right moves. We're going in the right direction. So what was your thought?
My thought first was like one of the things that I really wanted at 23 was Tevin Jenkins, the right tackle from Oklahoma State. But then what I like about this fact that compared to any other Jet draft is the fact that Joe Douglas not only aggressively hit, but he was swift and decisive.
Yes.
When Minnesota was on the clock, boom, Jets pick,
Right.
and then I forget what I mean. Even if we gave up more, the fact that Joe Douglas got his guy,
Yes,
is the fact that look at this GM. Everybody's telling us about Joe Douglas, how he works and how he does. Man, with this move, it gave me more faith in Joe Douglas. I'd be like, I trust Joe Douglas the rest of the draft because he's shown me something that if he wants it, he'll go up and get it. Right. That's what That's what we didn't see from McCagnon. McCagnon traded down a lot, to get value for that picks that he couldn't hit. So that's one of the things that I really liked about this selection. I mean, whoever it was, but the fact that we moved up. Vera Tucker is an elite pass defender. I mean, I think I read something about in like 600 or like 591, he is only allowed one pressure. That's insane.
That is.
That's insane.
No,
And he's also he's versatile. He could play left to right. So that's also great. And for a quarterback who loves to throw, all that time is just money. It's just honey and money. And I really loved the pick. Yeah, loved it. So, I mean, to me, the pick is great. Compensation, whatever we give him, whatever. Like, yeah, it's 2 third-round picks. We'll live with it, So, I mean, we probably could got drafted or left guard for the future, 15 years. So I'm pretty good with that.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. This guy's definitely solidified the left side, no doubt. Now we could, maybe wait to the 4th round to get another guard. But you know what? We're doing really well in this draft so far.
Yeah.
I agree too. All right, so we went to bed all happy, and then today rolled around, and I've heard like some rumors about the Jets trading down. So with certain teams who are trying to get up to get defensive players, especially like the Cowboys or like the Broncos, right? So and during the day, I was just like, yeah, it's a good way to trade down, get back a 3rd round pick, right? Because technically, 34 is a late first for a lot of people, right? But we didn't trade out, and we picked this next player, Elijah Moore, out of Ole Miss. I like this pick. A lot of people that I read on Twitter, they're like, "What are the Jets doing?"
There's always gonna be someone complaining,
Yeah,
So
No,
I don't, the writers were complaining, right? Because they had their, why? Because their predictions were so off. Like now they look totally. But that's the way it is.
Yeah.
You know, like you make a prediction, and if you're wrong, you're wrong. You
And
know?
I mean, if their predictions are wrong is one thing, right? If Joe Douglas has no leaks to these media people, they're going by their head, their guesses and stuff.
Right.
And if they're wrong, they're wrong. Don't
Right.
be like, don't be like, oh, I got my pick wrong. So don't be a sourpuss about it. Be like, great, just have a weapon. We need weapons, right? So we got a weapon. So why are you being such a, a bad orange here? You know?
I mean, I could sit here and be, I don't want to say negative about it, but yeah, I mean, it is kind of I don't want to say overkill because we do have 4 good starting wide receivers right now, so now this is our 5th one. And he's basically, he's going to be a guy you could put almost anywhere. You could move him around, but he's mainly a slot receiver, especially in the NFL. But yeah, you're going to be able to move this guy around. So, but
I mean,
he's a quicker, younger version of Crowder. And to me, Crowder's making $10 million. And if you trade him, there's going to be no dead cap hit. So possibly either cut or traded soon, maybe. And maybe with that money, you could sign Sherman. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think we should, keep all of our receivers this year. Just if someone gets hurt. Because last year, Crowder had issues with injuries.
Yeah.
So.
Creed Humphrey went to Kansas City. So,
of course.
Wow.
Get richer, of course.
All the other Jet fans that were crying for him for the past couple of weeks.
Me.
Yeah.
Come on, Krista. Come on, Krista.
I want to send them to my good friend Rich Domini and Brian Costello. They're the ones that are tweeting about, we did. So I guess the Jets are happy at cornerback, like they forgot that we still have another day of drafting. So I'd like to extend your Panda tissues to my good friend Rich Domini and Brian Costello, so they could cry about us not drafting cornerbacks and them actually have to write it about how great our offense, how much improved our offense is going to be now that we actually have offensive linemen, and Zach Wilson's going to be mind blown with all the receivers. He's going to be like, oh, from Utah, my receivers go to the Jets. Oh my God, who do I throw to? So I want you to extend your tissues to them because they might be crying of happiness with their offense, thinking,
also with Elijah Moore, this guy capped 97% of his passes behind the line of scrimmage. Like the guy must have sticky glue on his hands.
Yep,
that's insane.
He's got great hands. He's a strong dude. He can play special teams. Kind of reminds me a little bit of a Tyler Lockett type guy from the Seattle Seahawks. If you ever watch him, he's kind of similar to him, but a bigger, stronger version of him.
What is I heard from one news source, they had an analyst, they said they compared him to one of our receivers that we drafted in 2003 in the first round, Santana Moss.
Yeah, I did hear that today too.
Yeah, so I mean, if he becomes Santana Moss, I mean, I liked Santana back in the day. Yeah. So I mean, good, great way to go. Give Zach another weapon, then we'll go see from there. Any other thing on Moore that you guys like, or do you guys not like anything about Moore? No, you guys all like Moore, right?
I like it. I just wanted Creed Humphrey, but I would take Elijah Moore any time of the year because we have to start thinking about life after Jamison Crowder too. I mean, I love Jamison Crowder. I go on Twitter all the time, talk about my love for Jamison Crowder, Jeremy Curley, the Cotrees of the world. I love my slot receivers, so I'm a big bias. I love my slot receivers, so I love Elijah Moore naturally. But we have to think about life after Jamison Crowder. I know a lot of people like Braxton Berrios. I know we have Keegan Cole, but I think if you can get a guy like Elijah Moore, who's projected to be a first-round talent, and he's sitting there, I don't blame Joe Douglas for grabbing him. And if you're uncertain about Elijah Moore, listen to his interview. He's a very confident dude. He's a guy that said, hey, when I have the football, I turn into a running back. So you could tell the passion that he has for football and the kind of playmaker the Jets are getting. So that's kind of how much I feel about Elijah Moore.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you know what? Crowder's he's only signed this year. So they're definitely looking forward. So I listen. At first, I was like, because JOK was still up, and I know you wanted him too.
Yeah,
And he fell. He did fell. So, listen, we got another weapon on offense, something we don't have. So maybe I'm thinking 4th round. We'll probably get a running back as well at some point, maybe 5th round.
Oh, don't tell Costello that. Don't tell Costello, Rich Cimini that they're ready to burst the Jets at all. Be like, oh man, we pass on another cornerback again. Oh man, did they forget defense exists? I'm ready for it.
And you know what? A lot of people had Elijah Moore as a 1st round talent too. So I'm happy we got him.
Exactly.
Alrighty, now this goes to another wonderful section. Before we get to our next one, let us think about all the wonderful WTF picks in the draft so far. This is our next segment, and there's been a few that I think are they're like kind of head scratchers. Do you see any, Chris?
Well, the first one, and I'm happy Krista agreed with me earlier.
Yeah.
That, Leatherwood going to the Raiders at 17, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little too soon. A lot of people had him as a 2nd rounder, some even a 3rd, 2 or 3. Plus, they were saying too that a lot of scouts were saying that they don't think he's going to be a good tackle in the NFL. He's going to be more suited for a guard. So that I don't know. That was definitely, but you know what? It doesn't shock me because the Raiders, like we've said too, the Raiders have the last couple of years have just made moves where you're just like, what was that? So we're kind of used to it, but that was definitely one for me that I was a little bit taken aback. Well, how about you, Kristen? There was a couple other ones that I should have wrote them down, but
I agree with you about that. I kind of also was kind of baffled. Like, it's not so much about what the Broncos picked. I like Patrick Surtain, but they supposedly like Justin Fields too, and I'm kind of wondering what triggered them to pass on Justin Fields if you like a quarterback in order to pick Patrick Surtain. That's something it's not like I don't hate Patrick Surtain. I think he's a top 10 talent. I like him, but if you're a team that likes a quarterback, that kind of pick is kind of made me like, what are they doing? And
I definitely agree. That was one for me. You're right, because that was a perfect opportunity. They could have taken Justin Fields there or Trey Lance, and they were both kind of gifted. They were gifted these 2 quarterbacks onto their plate. And you can't tell me that they're set on Drew Lock because they just traded for Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
And before that, they were in on Jimmy Garoppolo. They were trying to get Aaron Rodgers. And we heard they were connected to every quarterback that was available. They were connected to it. So obviously they're not. So that was a shocker to me. I totally agree. How about you, Dando? Who didn't? What was the pick that you didn't particularly like?
Okay, let me just get my thoughts straight. The pick that I didn't. Okay, let's continue with mine. The pick that I really shook my head, and maybe because I wanted it or not, whatever, but is Travis Etienne to the Jaguars.
Yes. That's
I didn't agree with that either.
You covered mine.
Yeah, I mean, think about it.
Okay.
They had a 1,000-yard rusher from last year.
Yeah, so apparently this guy who was undrafted, James Robinson, goes in, plays on the worst team in football, puts up 1,000 yards, and they're like, okay, we're just gonna get, Travis Lawrence's running back, and be like, whoop, you're not our 2nd string. Like if I was him, I'd be like, what? I put my body and all that stuff for you, and got 1,000. Yeah. Now I have to share carries and stuff like that. So I thought that was a little weird.
Yeah.
Two others. I quickly looked. 2 others for me. The Giants trading down, like the deal that they got to move down was great. So I loved their trade down. It was perfect. They got an extra 1st round pick from next year, a couple other picks. So kudos to them for the move down. But the actual pick, taking Kadarius Toney, like they signed Ross, they signed Galladay, they got Slayton, they got Shepard, they got Evan Ingram. So you would think that kind of set at wide receiver. They really don't need Tony. I thought an edge rusher would have been perfect for them. Kwity Paye was there, obviously.
Yeah.
They ended up getting Ojulari in the second round, which is great. But I mean, I think that was a perfect time to get Kwity Paye there.
Yeah.
Or one of the linebackers at the moment. But so that was a surprise. The other one, it's a little nitpicking or whatever, but Tennessee taking Caleb Farley. I think Farley's a great player, but he's such a huge risk with the surgeries. You're kind of taking a chance there with him. I thought there, they could still need a wide receiver because obviously they lost Davis to us. Bateman would have been a perfect replacement for him. Or even Elijah Moore would have been great for them too.
Yeah.
But,
Sorry, wrong team.
that was two I didn't like. But anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, another one I thought was kind of weird was the number 29, the Green Bay Packers pick.
Yeah,
with
that
Eric
was
Stokes.
definitely- Yeah, I agree
Yeah,
with that too.
a little bit of a reach not a reach. I mean, he's not a bad player. I hate calling people reaches, but
Yeah,
I mean, come on, you got to get this guy a friggin' wide receiver.
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, come on, how many times are you going to do this to this poor guy? But I mean, I get it too. Like some people say, well, Avante Adams was a second round pick, so I get it, But still, last 2 years, last year and this year, deep in wide receivers, really good talent, and maybe another. Well, they got him a center in the second round too, but
Yeah, they got him Myers. Yeah, from Ohio State. Yeah,
that was a little bit of a reach. I agree, a little bit.
I got another one too. I just thought about. For
Which
me,
one?
The one when the Bengals passed on Penny Sewell.
Yeah.
So Joe Burrow
yes.
get knocked out in order to draft Jamar Chase. Now, this is not so much me saying Jamar Chase didn't deserve to be
Jamar
picked
Chase.
there, but I really believe that. Don't you want to protect Joe Burrow after seeing what he's been through? I just thought, okay, I get Jamar Chase, the talent, but I just think for the Bengals, I think Penny Sewell would have been a better pick to protect your franchise quarterback. I felt like that was a little bit off. Not so much of a reach, but I felt like that decision process was kind of backwards.
And did you see the advertisement when the Bengals introduced their new uniforms, and Joe Burrow was sitting there and his leg, you seen his leg and that humongous scar on his leg.
Yeah, exactly.
So you would think, he's probably like, hello. You could get me Sewell to protect me now.
See,
but
so this is what I don't get. They took Jamar Chase, right? Okay, great offensive weapon. Joe Burrow loves him, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But they traded up in the second round to 46 to get an offensive tackle from Clemson, right? Jackson Carman, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, right? So, you wasted draft capital down here when you had the best left tackle in the draft,
Exactly.
and took Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is great, great wide receiver. But if he doesn't have enough time to throw the ball to him,
he's great. It's nothing against him. It's just that I'm sorry if I want to protect my investment. I think Joe Burrow is the most, obviously the quarterback, the franchise quarterback is the most important guy on your team. So you want to protect him, and you got Sewell, 20 years old.
Yeah.
This kid's going to be a friggin' probably an all-time great tackle for the next 10, 15 years. Just draft him and just boom, throw him in there. I don't know. It was definitely a shocker, but listen, you can't get on him too much because look who they ended up drafting. I mean, Jamar Chase. I mean, this freaking guy is going to be great, So, got to give him that.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, now
bust, is he? Don't say we'll see. The way you said that, it was like, we'll see.
Oh.
You're not calling him a bust, too, are you?
No.
Okay.
I'm not doing that. Okay, as far as let's go back to the Giants pick. I think their pick at 11 was Waddle.
Yes. Or
Yeah,
Smith.
I think it's Smith based on the
No,
comparisons
no.
Tony.
Well,
picked.
the Eagles. I'm sorry. The Eagles went ahead of them. That pissed them off,
Yeah.
I think, to
Yeah,
get
it did.
Smith.
But I've heard that the Eagles called the Giants to see if they wanted to swap picks, but they didn't want to, so they went up to Dallas, right, to get the wide receiver.
Right.
But I think their choice was Waddle, and Waddle didn't fall to them. And then they got kind of a poor man's Waddle in Tony and stuff like that. But the thing is, I've heard that Tony is great in special teams, and the Giants coach is a special teams coach, head coach. So that might have been a push from him to pick him. So that's just my 2 cents on that.
I think they wanted a playmaker, like you said. They wanted Waddle. They couldn't get him. I think if Devontae Smith fell to him at 11, I think they would have definitely drafted him. That's why the Eagles moved in front of him. So, and the Eagles wanted Devontae Smith. So, I guess at 20 they had Tony ranked higher than whoever's left, Bateman, Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I personally don't. I like those guys better than Tony, but but to me, Tony, he's kind of like the he's another guy you could kind of move him around and put him almost anywhere. Could put him in the backfields, just get him the ball, and he's just a playmaker, like the Swiss Army knife type of player, like they say. So it's not a horrible pick. It was just kind of a little bit out of left field, for me.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, right now the draft is going on, and I just started round 3, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe the Jets trade back up and get a cornerback or another offensive lineman. So who knows? We'll see. And coming to our last and wonderful segment where Krista rants about things on the internet.
Oh man. Oh man. I really got my own segment for this. I wasn't prepared.
It's called the eject button.
Wow.
Oh,
You just got
man.
it
I got my own segment. First off,
kind of put her
I
on
think-
the spot now.
Oh man.
Good luck.
Oh man.
No, I had such a great blast watching you, like, over and over again when you started blasting Sam Darnold.
Oh
Well,
man.
Krista, I'm sure you could come up with something.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know how to follow up on that one. The eject button.
No, you can't. That's a tough one. That's a tough one to follow up on.
Yeah, please don't ask me to follow up on the last rant. It's not going to come any close.
Everything's going to be a letdown after that.
Yeah, I didn't expect.
But anyway, so come on, Krista. Get some energy. Give us a good rant about all these people who think they're couch, GMs.
All right. Well, first off, I want to give the eject button to our beat writers because first off, they want to do their little Twitter fingers and they want to be like, hey, look, the Jets should have drafted quarterback here. Like, they didn't realize that we still have a whole draft tomorrow to focus on other needs. So they forget it because we have Brian Costello say, hey, look, the Jets did not draft a cornerback. Then Rich Cimini chimed in and said, well, the Jets defense gave up such and such amount of points. But I'd like to counter that and say, look at all the 3-and-outs our offense did last year. Look at our coach last year. Look at where our offense has been ranked. 32nd. I wonder why our defense is giving up so many points. I wonder why Greg Williams had ranted and went off on that game saying that my guys are going day in and day out. I wonder why we finally got a pass rusher and did all the stuff in free agency. Rome wasn't fixing today, and the Jets have a ton of needs. We finally go offense because how many times as fans are we tired of our Jets drafting defense first round, year in, year out, and how many guys are still on the team? Unfortunately, it's just Quinn Williams. So now we have traded up to protect Zach Wilson, our new franchise quarterback, and we get a weapon. But still, I can hear the Brian Costellos of the world, Rich Cimini say, hey, we should have went cornerback. Well, maybe I should go. And then we have any positive tweets about Elijah Moore was one person in the country of deep balls and how great he is, how explosive, how great of a addition he is. I'm writing back and said, as a snarky remark, he said, well, someone told me we should have drafted cornerback instead of this electric playmaker. We should have, instead of Elijah Moore. So every time you see a positive tweet about Elijah Moore and how much he can improve your team, please tweet, say, Brian Costello and Rich Cimini told me we should have went defense instead. Ignore everything he did at Ole Miss. Ignore how much better he made that offense in Ole Miss. Just throw it all out. Because you know what? Our beat writers told us we should have went cornerback in that position. It doesn't matter if Joe Douglas ranks Elijah Moore better than any of the rest of the cornerbacks available that didn't get picked till later on. No, our beat writers wanted us to reach for a cornerback. But you know what? I'm thankful we finally solidified the wide receiving room. I'm glad that Zach Wilson's coming into a situation where he's going to have his mind blown because he doesn't know which receivers he's going to throw to. And you know, want to know the best part about that is, not only did we draft a playmaker that could help this offense that was great at Ole Miss and that could help the Jets out, but he has time to actually throw the football. And you know what? I don't want to hear we should have drafted defense because, to me, we need to protect Zach Wilson. And that's what I'm thankful we are doing. So when we draft another offense playmaker that has positive stats, I cannot wait to have Rich Cimini, Brian Costello, Manish, if he's still hiding somewhere, because I'm sure he has something to say about why we should have drafted defense. I will tag them all when our offense moves from 32nd to something, and I will say, you know what? I'm so glad we drafted Elijah Moore because you all told me we should have drafted defense instead of all these guys. And I know what? They're probably they're the same ones that said day in, day out. Because I know I read their tweets during the summer saying, wow, the Jets' offense is so boring. I'd rather watch grass grow. But when they say anything positive about the offense this summer when they're covering it, I'm going to say, you know what? We should have drafted defense like you guys said months ago. Because you guys wanted us to reach for some guy on cornerback and ignore the offensive side of the ball like it doesn't exist. I'm sorry if this rant disappoints you from the Sam Darnold rant, but I just wanted to throw the eject button and send my Panda tissues to Rich Cimini, Brian Costello, and any of our beat writers from now that has any complaints about Jets finally wanting to improve our 32nd ranked offense. And this is why I am thankful that we have went offense our first 3 rounds.
Wow, that was a rant,
Right.
Krista.
For someone who wasn't planning on coming up with a rant, you came up with it pretty good. You must have been holding all this in for a while, for a couple of days, I think.
And no curse words were used this time either.
No,
Like,
good job.
Yeah. Good job.
Very proud of you. All clean.
Yeah, all clean.
Well,
PG-13, so your kids can watch this rant. You don't have to cover their ears. No curse words have been used.
Alrighty. Why is my face blown up bigger? Uh-oh. There we go. Alrighty. Now this comes to the end of our show. And, before that, one Panda's chuck the ball thought of the show is the fact that we could draft the best great players, but if they can't have chemistry, it's absolutely nothing. So let's have lots of top golf and lots of paintball for the team so they could get some chemistry and they could gel. And I'm hoping to see a brand new day of Jet football with this new draft. After our show, the draft is over. Now everyone's going to go into, voluntary OTAs and mini camps and stuff like that. So hopefully all the new draftees from now on who are going to be Jets, wish them best of luck. And who have also been drafted, best of luck to them. And that's it for this week's show. So any last words for you guys?
Listen, I think so far we've gotten an A+ for the draft first round and the one pick in the second round. Maybe we'll get a surprise and he'll trade back up into the third round later. If not, we'll be looking forward to tomorrow for the fourth, fifth, and sixth round. We got picks in those rounds. let's see what we could do. Hopefully, I'm hoping a corner, maybe a running back, a linebacker, edge rusher.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And Krista?
Thank you again for having me on. I'm still kind of tired out from that rant, but it's been a good time. I like what Joe Douglas is doing. This is the most excited I've been in a while about what the Jets are doing. I'm actually excited. I feel like we actually have a confident GM that knows what he's doing. He's aggressive. I like the choices and picks that he made. I know no Alabama or Oklahoma players have been selected, but the day is still early, and we still have a whole nother day of the NFL draft to be excited about. So I can't wait.
Well, as far as this show is concerned, I have faith in Joe Douglas, and I trust Joe Douglas and his scouting team to bring us the best players.
Definitely.
And make sure you guys like and subscribe us and follow us on Twitter. And hopefully we get this show going, get to entertain you guys and entertain ourselves as while making the show. And everyone have a nice night. Ciao.